You know, back in 1989, Bob Dylan put out a song called Political World. And when you listen to it today, it feels less like a song and more like a diagnosis. A really sharp, kind of unsettling diagnosis of a world where our ethics are just collapsing. A world that, let's be honest, might feel a little too familiar. So let's break this down piece by piece and see why it still hits so hard. Right off the bat, Dylan just lays it all out. These first two lines, that's the whole setting for the story. And think about that for a second. It's not a world where love is just having a tough time. No, it's a world where love literally has no place at all. That's the bleak transactional landscape we're about to explore.
Okay, so if this world is a sick patient, what are the symptoms? Well, Dylan's first major point is this pervasive feeling of moral numbness, where the lines between right and wrong get so blurry you can barely see them. It's a world where injustice becomes anonymous. It's a world without a face.
And this gets to a core problem, a total lack of accountability. I mean, when wrongdoing has no identity, when a crime has no face, it means no one is really responsible. That things just happen. And that creates this dangerous space where terrible actions start to feel normal because they aren't connected to anyone we can actually point a finger at. And this is where it gets really scary. A faceless crime isn't just one that goes unsolved. It's a crime that becomes background noise. It becomes routine, expected even. It's like an alarm that's always ringing. Eventually, your brain just learns to tune it out. That constant outrage, that constant provocation, it just wears you down. It exhausts our moral reflexes until injustice is just another Tuesday. I mean, just look at the scene he's painting here. You've got these incredible moments of pure joy, like wedding bells, right next to absolute despair. Haunted houses, unwanted children. But it's all covered by this thick blanket of indifference. The clouds cover up the ground, he says. Everything is obscured in this fog of apathy and fear, and you can't even tell the difference between a celebration and a tragedy anymore. But if you think that's bleak, hold on. It's not just that people don't care. Dylan's diagnosis goes deeper. He's saying our most basic values have been completely turned upside down. The moral compass isn't just spinning, it's shattered into a million pieces. This right here, this is the absolute heart of it. Just look at how everything is inverted. Wisdom, yeah, that gets you thrown in jail. Mercy, it walks the plank. Peace gets the door slammed in its face. In this political world, all the virtues we say we admire are systematically punished, thrown out. It's a world where everything is completely backward. And this distortion, it applies to everything, even the big stuff, like life and death. Life is in mirrors. It's just a shallow reflection, not the real thing. And death, this is wild. Death doesn't get a funeral. It disappears up the steps into the nearest bank. It's not a human tragedy, it's a financial transaction. In a world where a brand or a deal is the ultimate prize, a human life just becomes another number on a spreadsheet. So, that's the world. That's the system. But what about the person trying to live in it? What does this kind of world do to an individual? Well, Dylan shows us a person who is fundamentally confused, anxious, and in the end, totally compliant. The main emotional state here is fear. But it's a very specific kind of fear. It's not the kind of communal fear that might bring people together to fight back. Nope, it's a lonesome fear. And the system loves that because that anxiety keeps every single person isolated, feeling like they're the only one who's lost and powerless. And Dylan kind of lays out this three-step path for how a person gets lost in this maze. First, you lose your direction. You turn in the middle. That leads to this deep existential confusion. You're never sure why you're here. And finally, the system itself finishes the job. You are trained to take the easy way out, to always choose the path of least resistance. Wow, this next line is chilling. It's this twisted illusion of freedom, right? You can travel anywhere. Sounds great, but it's a trap. The freedom is just a mechanism for your own self-destruction. The system gives you more than enough rope, making sure you can fail, and then it frames that failure as your own personal choice, not a result of a broken system. Okay, so this brings us to the most damning part of the whole song, this moral rot, this individual despair. It is not an accident. Dylan argues that it's all by design. This is the very architecture of collapse. And his main metaphor here is just perfect, a stacked deck. We all know what that means, right? It's a card game that looks fair on the surface, but it's rigged from the very beginning to make sure a certain person, and it's not you, is going to win. But here's the real kicker. It's not just that the deck is stacked. There's no referee, no one to check the dealer, but the truly devastating part is that last line. We all know for sure that it's real. It's an open secret. Everybody playing the game knows it's rigged. And that shared knowledge, it doesn't lead to a rebellion, it leads to resignation. And that's how the system protects itself. So let's just recap for a second. We've walked through Dylan's diagnosis from all the way back in 1989. Moral numbness, inverted values, scared and compliant individuals, and a system that's rigged from the start. Which brings us to the big, flashing question. Why does this all feel so painfully accurate today? So you put all these pieces together, and what do you have? It's a complete blueprint for ethical collapse. It's a world where doing the right thing gets you punished, and just being scared and going along with things is how you survive. And you can see how a political figure like Donald Trump doesn't just exist in this world. This is the exact environment where he thrives. All the constant chaos, the blurring of fact and fiction, it's like gasoline on the fire of that moral numbness Dylan was talking about. It makes being numb not a weakness, but a necessary survival skill just to get through the day. And so, this is where we land. Dylan wrote this diagnosis as the Cold War was ending, but maybe his true subject wasn't a specific time at all. Maybe he was describing a timeless political condition. A condition where love has no place, where crime has no face, and where the deck is always, always stacked against you. And the truly haunting reason this song resonates so powerfully right now is that we have to ask ourselves, are we just listening to a song about the political world, or are we actually living in it?